Arsenal target William Carvalho earns £8,000 per week. I know that sounds like a ton in normal everyday money, but in footballer terms, that's nothing. That's less than Coquelin earns, that's less than Messi earns. It's a pretty surprising figure for someone that's a pretty key Sporting Lisbon player. So last night, one of the people I do Messi Minutes with, Julian, dug in and found a whole load of interesting stuff about the William Carvalho deal to Arsenal, or whether Khedira is going to go to Arsenal, or probably no one goes to Arsenal. Sporting Lisbon have huge financial problems. I'll talk about that later. So to put William Carvalho on his first contract, they sold him to an investment firm called BES. BES bought 40% of William Carvalho's rights. That's interesting, and it's a crucial figure. It's less than 50%, which to me seems quite unusual, and it meant that Sporting Lisbon kept William Carvalho's playing rights. It means that BES would get 40% of any transfer fee for Carvalho, and they would have to approve the transfer as well as Sporting Lisbon, which is really interesting. Literally last night, BES had to be bailed out by the Portuguese government for £5 billion. The firm bought their 40% stake in Carvalho for €400,000, which means there's a massive profit margin if they sell him for, let's say, 30 million. Their assets are worth nearly €80 billion, so sure, Carvalho represents a pretty small portion of that, but at the moment when they're being bailed out, they're really in no mood to wait till next year. So BES, understandably, really want to sell, and coupled with the fact that his wages are so small, I think they're 10 times less than that of Khedira's, I think a deal this summer to Arsenal, if not somewhere else, seems pretty likely to me. So now I think it looks like Arsenal just need to agree a fee with Sporting. But there might be one last hurdle. You might remember the name Jorge Mendes from my video on Falcao. He's a super agent. He has the power to completely destroy deals or completely make them. He has links to BES, and maybe because of that, he represents William Carvalho. So if wages probably aren't the problem, if the fee with BES probably isn't the problem, what is? Well, I don't think it's the transfer fee that Sporting will want, because sure, he's a talented player and he deserves to go for quite a lot of money, but they're also in deep financial shit. Sporting Lisbon have three massive financial problems. Number one is that they borrowed cash to build a new stadium around the same time as the global economic crash hit. Number two, the Portuguese government raised the tax on high earners, so to pay a competitive wage, Sporting Lisbon had to pay even higher wages than they did before. And three, ticket sales went down for 4 years straight by 20% each year as the Portuguese people really felt the crisis. The new 50,000-seater stadium has been half full for years. Sporting Lisbon are almost in €400 million of debt, and they've made a loss in 12 of the last 14 years. If you're asking me how likely this deal is, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know how real the Khedira interest is, I don't know how real Portuguese reports that Arsenal submitted a £24 million bid is, and Wenger doesn't normally go for players that have been really great, that have come into the spotlight only a year ago. However, all the pieces apart from Jorge Mendes of the puzzle are there. I've only seen him play once for Sporting Lisbon, so I really can't tell you how amazing he is. But people that do say that he's a real phenomenon, so I hope it comes off. Check out the Falcao video on my channel if you want to hear more about Jorge Mendes and the kind of deals he does. Check out my previous video, which was me talking about football over my travels around Europe during the World Cup, and subscribe so you don't miss the future ones. Please share if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.